This is Asha Marcus, and I'm on location at the Met Theatre in Hollywood for the presentation of Green Day's American Idiot.
Hi, I'm Asha Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you are?
Marco Gomez. I'm the director and executive producer of Green Day's American Idiot, produced by Doma Theatre Company.
So why did you decide to do this show?
We were so excited when MTI told us that we would be able to do this show. We love Green Day's music. We think it sends a great message through its lyrics and the way that the story was created to present and to relate to a generation which even I belong to was one of the best ways to tell America how new musicals can still exist among all the revivals that we do.
I love the darkness in it.
Oh yes, one of my famous saying is, any show that I do has to be dark. That's my touch on any musical I do.
So do you have a big rock background?
Yes, well I was, when I was an actor I did Hair as Claude, so I've always been into rock musicals, Jesus Christ Superstar, Jesus. So I've always had a connection to rock musicals especially. And now that I direct, I love going for rock musicals. Like we actually did Jesus Christ right before this one. So having two rock musicals in 1 year, best experience ever.
You had a pretty big cast and they were all pretty talented.
Oh yes, it was 25 cast members. And what we did is we called on all our leads from previous shows. Our Johnny was the title role in the Who's Tommy. We brought back our Jekyll and Hyde and Lucy, which was Cassandra and Chris Kerrigan, Tony and Extraordinary Girl. Wesley, he was in our Young Frankenstein and our Jesus Christ. So every cast member has been in one of our past productions. About a handful of ensemble members are brand new, but they're already family.
So what do you look for in your casting?
For them to have fun and for them to feel the role. When they walk in and they say the first line, you know whether it's them or not. And everybody that walked in, they just say the first phrase, they got it. It was magic. They got on stage the first time for the read-through. Everybody was playing around. Everybody was connecting, cutting each other in the right ways, and the voices blended harmoniously.
Yeah. And how about the band? Were you the music director too, or do you have a separate music director?
No, our music director is Raymond. He's been my musical director for quite a few shows now. And I owe him everything when it comes to music. He knows how to select the band. He works with them many hours before we get them to Statesboro with our cast. And when they come, everybody's ready and prepared to deliver on the spot.
Great. So again, I love the performance. I thought it's different from what I'm used to, because I'm used to musical theater, which is usually a little brighter. Sometimes it's dark, but not like this. This was actually very dark, but again, it was appropriate.
Yes, we wanted to bring the heart of the show to the audience so that they could connect to it and see how all of us can connect to one character or the other, and how we all go through different phases in our lives that at times will be dark.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Hi, my name is Asha Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And you are?
I'm Jess Ford. I'm originally from Phoenix, Arizona. I did my training in Chicago. Lived there for about 8 years. Worked with a few theaters, Chicago Shakespeare, Timberlake Playhouse. Went to Chicago College of the Performing Arts. Got a Bachelor of Fine Arts there. Been in LA about 4.5 years now, and this is my second show with Doma, so I'm happy to be back. I played Johnny tonight, yeah. Johnny represents the misfit Americans that are in the world, someone who's of age but still immature and doesn't know what he wants, and so he goes out to find that in the big city, and it throws him out, chews him up, spits him out, and he learns the hard way through drugs and love and ends up coming home empty-handed just where he started, and I think that's what I like the most about it, is that it's not necessarily a happy story. Johnny faces real life like everyone else and doesn't necessarily come out on top, and that's real. So
Great. So are you a fan of rock and roll?
Absolutely, especially rock musicals are my favorite to do. It's the best way to go when you're coming out. The energy's always so high, the tech and the lights and everything, everybody really having a great time. Yeah.
I actually think this is like a modern version of an opera.
Yeah, it's very operatic. It's really dark, and I think that's something that you don't always see in musicals. luckily Doma's willing to explore that side of theater a little more, and they embrace it. And I think that's also more real in life, because not everything is happy and dancy and fairies and good endings. Sometimes, sometimes life hits you hard, and you got to get back up and keep going.
Yeah, so what is rock and roll to you? Is it drugs and sex, or what is it? Is it
No. I mean, rock and roll's a heartbeat, man. It's about what gets you moving, and something that keeps your energy up. And it doesn't have to be a positive or a negative thing. It's a life force, and I think everyone can connect with music of all sorts. But rock and roll calls to me because I grew up on the '90s radio, so it's just kind of my forte right now.
So why do people listen to it when they're so depressed and suicidal and headbanging?
I think it fits for that mood too, but it also fits for like great amounts of pride and joy, and just getting amped up for a night out. Can listen to rock music. It's a broad genre, and to pigeonhole it would be one-sided. And I think every style of music has more to it than just one feeling or another.
Well, I liked all the drama in it. I like the darkness in it. I like the way you guys performed this.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming out and supporting us. We appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks for being on the show.
Cheers. Have a good night.
Hi, my name is Asha Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
I'm Andrew Diego. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, and I graduated from California Institute of the Arts with a degree in vocal performance. I've worked with Cirque du Soleil. I've worked with the LA Philharmonic. My background is in classical music, and I've just started to really dive into musical theater here in LA. I play St. Jimmy. St. Jimmy is the alter ego of Johnny, the main character, and he lures him into the underworld of drugs and temptation and sex and greed, and it's just a lot of fun to play. Yeah,
I loved your character. I just loved it. I love these characters who bring out edge, who are kind of anti-heroes, who I just loved it.
Yeah, because thank you for saying that, because my goal is to get people to love St. Jimmy and then to sort of wonder why,
Yeah, because he was a very dark character, almost satanic.
Yes, I do feel a lot of kind of connection to that aspect of the character. Just working with the concept of like possession and cults and just the underworld. It's really, I've tried to bring that into this unique interpretation. Yeah.
So do you have a rock background? Are you very familiar with rock and roll, or is this from your classical experience?
This is pretty much from my classical experience. I have a background as a fan, but even so, not very much. I learn from my friends, and I learn from this cast, who, for the most part, they all have much more of a background in rock. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think you captured the essence of what this show is about. I mean, you captured the darkness, the despair, and I think your character actually disappeared at the very right time too.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to hear that. It was a lot of fun.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Hi, my name is Asha Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
I'm Chris Kerrigan. I'm 31 years old, and I'm in shows sometimes in Los Angeles. I played Tunny in this show. Well, Tunny is Tunny's a townie from the suburbia, and then he goes to the big city, but he realizes he's just as worthless to the big city, and so he joins the army and then gets his legs blown off, and then comes back home at the end.
So what do you think of this play?
I think it's a lot of fun, very fun indeed.
This actually seemed more like a rock opera than it did like a musical. What do you think?
Yeah, you could say that, a rock opera. It's a concept album with a little story sort of tacked into it. So yeah, rock opera is fitting.
So what is rock and roll anyway? I basically do musical theater, so I'm not really into rock and roll that much. What do you think it is?
What is rock and roll? It's bass and drums, man. It's rebellion. It's all that. It's all that stuff.
A lot of sex and drugs too. Is that part of it?
Well, yeah, sex and drugs sometimes too. Yeah.
Was it a lot of, say, emptiness, a lot of adolescence, just trying to find some kind of feeling or something like that?
Yeah, all that stuff. Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Asha Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm with
Wesley Moran. I went to Los Angeles County High School for the Performing Arts. I am 22 years old. I primarily studied opera for the past 7 to 8 years, and I've been switching more over into musical theater. I've done Jesus Christ Superstar, Young Frankenstein, and now American Idiot here at Doma Theater Company.
And which character did you play?
I'm Will. Will is a late 20-something living in Orange County who is realizing that there is nothing going on in his life other than television, alcohol, and cigarettes. He decides to move away with his friends and go on an adventure. Right before he leaves, he ends up getting his girlfriend pregnant and chooses to stay behind to take care of the child. Unfortunately, he has a difficult time doing that because he himself is a child and you can't take care of another child while you're doing that. They break up, and towards the end of the show, they all come back together again and meet each other.
So do you have a rock background?
You know, I've always sung a lot of Green Day. I'm a big fan of Camelot. I really, really love Kurt Cobain, but I myself have never had a chance to perform it. So this is a new experience for me.
So what's your take on rock? How would you define it?
I think that, just to use a quote, music is how we decorate time, and everybody has different tastes. Rock and roll is one of the most common, and it can be one of the most beautiful, just like any other. I respect it just as much as I respect opera or country music or rap.
I look at this as being a rock opera, because
Yes.
a lot of operas are very dark. They're a lot like this.
Yeah, well, operas were popular because they were based on the issues of everyday life that people dealt with. And this show is typical. It's just common situations that people have to deal with, you know, a post 9/11 world where people are going off to war and you're losing family members and friends. Even nowadays, people struggle with drug abuse and definitely end up getting people pregnant. I think it gets across really well because it is real.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Asha Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And you're?
I'm Jackie Bianchi. I am born in San Diego. I've been doing musical theater all my life. I went to school and got my BFA in musical theater, and I love Doma. I feel really at home here. I played Heather, the teen mom. She's a punk skateboarder who gets knocked up at a party, and it changes her life.
Yeah, so what did you think of this, the musical?
You know, it's a lot of fun. You know, it's not the normal musical with a big storyline. You get to make up what's happening for yourself. It's really cool.
Yeah, well, I actually think it does have a lot of the themes of a classical musical. It's just it's a more modern version where there's a lot of despair, a lot of darkness, a lot of emptiness, and it's communicated through music.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
You seem to have gelled very well. The entire cast seems to have been like one voice.
Yeah, you know, a lot of us just did Jesus Christ Superstar together, myself included, and we have a lot of new people as well, and we've become like a family. It's really nice. All of our voices and dancing all blends together.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Awesome.
Hi, my name is Asha Marcus. I'm KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
My name's Renee Cohen. This is my 5th show at Doma. I just finished Jesus Christ Superstar, played Mary Magdalene. I live in LA and I work on music.
Okay. And which character did you play?
I played What's Her Name.
Okay. And could I have a brief synopsis of her?
What's Her Name is a girl from the city who is lost, and then she meets Johnny and falls in love, and it just gets crazy.
I like all the drama, the lostness, the trying to find yourself, the drugs, and the total despair. I loved it.
Yeah, it's really awesome and deep and so much fun to play.
Yeah, kind of a dark subject and all that, but again, I think that is a little bit about what rock and roll is all about.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You got to find the depths of humanity, really.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you for coming.
My name is Asha Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm with?
Cassandra Nutt. I went to college in Kansas. I have a degree in theater performance and dance from Wichita State University in Wichita, Kansas. I graduated in 2007 and have been working professionally for over 15 years. I played the Extraordinary Girl. The Extraordinary Girl is a woman that Tunney meets overseas. She's a military nurse, and she kind of nurses him back to health after he's had his injury, and she ends up coming home with him, and she's a big big proponent of love, like as far as like the rage and love that's going in the show. She's a big example of the love side of things.
So what do you think of this show?
I really like it. I think Green Day is fabulous, and it speaks to like I was in high school when this album came out, so it was nice. It's kind of nice to like travel back to that time in my life. But the music is super fun. Like the music director is great. The band is awesome. So it's been a good experience working with fabulous live musicians and putting on great theater in LA.
I was impressed by the performers, the musicians, the singers, and the dancers and all that. It was a very professional piece.
Yes, it absolutely is. I mean, Marco and Dolph pride themselves on bringing in the absolute best of the best as far as talent is concerned, and they have set the bar high for intimate theater in Los Angeles, so they definitely bring in the best people that they can get, and the audition for this was huge. I mean, they saw so many people, like it was just unreal the turnout they had.
Do you see that? Do you notice that more people are actually trying out for musicals?
I mean, I think the market here is great. I mean, there's a lot of theater in Los Angeles, and I mean, there is kind of that thought that, you know, oh, New York is a better place to do theater, but there's a lot of stuff going on here, and it's very, like, cutting edge and very interesting, and, like, we're right in the middle of the Hollywood Fringe Festival, so, like, you know, it's a good time to be doing theater in LA, and it is great to see big turnouts at shows like this and seeing all of the new work that goes on as well this time of year.
Very well, thank you very much for being on the show.
You're welcome.
Hi, my name is Asha Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
I'm Everjon Feliciano. I was born in the Philippines. I grew up in LA. I majored in musical theater at PCC, Pasadena City College, as well as Cal State Fullerton. And now I'm doing theater in LA. Yeah, enjoying myself. I played Theo.
Nice.
Yeah, he's in one of the characters ensemble. Yeah, great. I have two major songs in the show. It's one is in Holiday. I do the little rap section in that, and I also am the male soloist in Too Much Too Soon. My character, it's a supporting character. I have a relationship with another character in the show, and we develop some sort of friendship with the two leads, who are Will and Heather. And when there's a major part, should I tell you what happens, or I don't know if you want to publish it, but like, you know, there's a part in the show where like there's a fight, and we're the ones that kind of orchestrate it and then feel bad about it and then try to fix it, and yeah, that's pretty much my character.
Yeah, this really isn't my type of music, because I do musical theater, so obviously I do a lot more subtle things, but actually I was intrigued by the music. I'm a big fan of music and all that, so I was very intrigued by it.
Yeah, great. Yeah, but Green Day, they're amazing. I wasn't a fan of them until I heard about this musical, and I studied the music, and I think the lyrics are brilliant, the music is amazing, and just the way they arranged it was absolutely gorgeous and beautiful.
I did like all the passion they put in, because again, it was about drugs, it was about sex, it was about just finding yourself, just being lost.
Right, yes, it is about it's a youthful musical. It basically tells you the journey of what youth go through. You know, we rebel, and then we figure out maybe we like weren't thinking, maybe we weren't, our minds weren't right, and now we learned from it, and now we're back home and moving on from that. Yeah, so yeah.
All right, well, thank you very much for being on the show.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Hi, my name is Asha Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm with.
And I'm Angeline Miranda. I grew up in Northern California, and I moved down here about 6 years ago to go to college. I went to Chapman University, and I teach dance classes now.
Great. And which character did you play?
Anna. Anna's in the ensemble, so the ensemble all got to create their own backstories. So what I went with was that she's a young girl in suburbia who has an absent father, and her brother is suffering from autism. So she runs away from that and goes to the city with them and gets caught up in the whirlwind, and in the end she comes back.
So what do you think about this style of musical?
It's fun. It's really high energy the whole show. It's a lot of cardio work. But I think that the music is really relatable to a lot of people, especially like my age group kind of grew up on this. So it's something that is a little bit nostalgic for them. And I think that it all works, and the arrangement of it is really beautiful.
I think it's kind of like a rock opera.
Yes, I would definitely call it a rock opera. Yeah, maybe less opera, but it's very much more a rock show than like a musical.
Well, even operas, there's some really, really dark operas out there.
Absolutely, yeah.
And again, I appreciate the darkness, the drama, just the
grit.
The grit.
The grit is great. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Asha Marcus. I'm with KUCI, 88.9 FM in Irvine. And you are?
I'm Chris Raymond. I'm the producer and musical director of Doma's American Idiot.
So what were you looking for in your casting?
Well, we wanted people who had technical ability, but were also able to convey the emotions and the energy that's contained within the words of this show, because it's such a passionate piece. We needed people who could, get that across in a very effective way. Yeah.
Great. And basically, could you comment a little bit about the style of the music?
Well, the music is the music is essentially pop punk mixed with some kind of rock Broadway. It's very different than most musicals, and we're trying to get that official, authentic Green Day sound with the show. And I think we're doing a very good job with it. It's sounding fantastic. The actors sound great. The band is amazing. So really happy with the sound of it. But yeah, it's very rock. Yes, with big harmonies.
I was very impressed by the band.
Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, great group of musicians. They've all played with me plenty of times. Wonderful to work with and so talented. Yeah.
Do they all have a rock background, or were they primarily classical musicians?
They're all versatile musicians who work a lot doing musical theater, pit orchestra work, but actually all these guys have had rock experience, which really was handy doing this show. Yeah.
I'm actually going to be doing another review of this in La Mirada.
Oh, sure.
I can't imagine it being like this, though. I just can't imagine it.
Well, I wish them the best with their production. Doma's very friendly with them, but that means a lot, and we've put everything we could into this show to make it as great as possible, and I feel very good about it. Yeah.
Because this is probably more of an R-rated performance. They're probably going to do a G or a PG performance.
Probably. Well, yeah, they have a different audience, I think, than us. It's definitely adult subject matter, but I think it's good, probably 13 up. Yeah.
Seeing as all the actors or the performers were singing, were you basically concentrating on great singers, or were you looking for great actors, or what?
Well, they really had to be able to sing, act, and dance, so we really needed triple threat people, which is the toughest thing to find, but we really lucked out with this cast, and there's a lot of people from previous shows, and also a lot of new people, which is great. Yeah.
I've commented a few times that this reminds me of a rock opera.
Yes. Well, it certainly is. It's a true modern rock opera. We just did Jesus Christ Superstar earlier this year, which is obviously a rock opera. Really, it was the first Broadway rock opera. But it's nice to do one that's so fresh, with songs that are still being played on the radio all the time, and not just on classic rock stations, but on, K-Rock and everything. So it's a true modern rock opera. But we try to present it in as theatrical a setting as possible, so that you really feel the story, so that you're not just listening to music, but you're watching, you're getting involved with the emotions, you're getting involved with the conflicts, the real things that are happening on stage. Yeah.
Basically, one of my biggest things about opera is sometimes the performers don't really act a whole lot.
Yeah.
But also, a lot of people fall asleep in operas.
Well, it's very true. It's very true. And a lot of operas are very long. But we really try to keep this one quick-paced. It's 90 minutes with an intermission where you can get drinks and slushies and alcohol, whatever you want, snacks. So we just try to keep it a quick-moving, fun, entertaining piece of theater. Yeah.
I think also the actors communicated to the audience. They really did do acting. You really cared about the people.
Oh yes, every single person in this show knows everything they need to know about their character, and that includes all the ensemble members. They know what their characters have been through. Are they in a relationship? What happened, 3 years before this story is taking place? So everyone has really done their homework on this, and I think that's why it's coming across. I'm very glad that it's coming across like that. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Well, thank you so much. And
Green Day's American Idiot will be playing at the Met Theatre in Hollywood from June 5th to August 2nd. For more information, go to rd2.domatheater.com or search for AMB Theatre, that's all one word, AMB Theatre on Facebook.